Where were we? Oh, dear me. Yeah, sit down. Right, let me take this off.
Yeah.
Make it on. Oh, no, I bet we have to press something. Yeah, it's a little switch there. That's not. Hello, it's not working, is it? Right, when you'll be able to hear me, don't worry
They've
about
spent
it.
10 minutes testing the microphone. 10 minutes.
They were on.
They were definitely on, yeah.
Now you up there? Not you two. Bob. That should move. Welcome back, everyone. Isn't it wonderful to be here? Well, it is sort of, and everybody I think was a little bit sort of light-hearted and full of the joys of being allowed out again last night. And thank you so much. Look, I would say, frankly, thank you so much for taking the risk to come, because it is a risk. Let's not fool ourselves. I hear things happening.
Working.
Let's not fool ourselves. This situation hasn't finished. It's still not over. So that's the point I want to start on. Take things easy today. Don't get carried away. We're all back. Everything's normal again. Take things easy. Try and maintain social distancing. Quite asking that everybody wears a mask when they're on the move around the building. When you're sitting down here, that's absolutely great. But when you're moving around the building, please wear a mask if you can. And you'll have seen that we've said nobody gets into the autograph room without a mask at all. That's a hard and fast rule. Now, if you have an exemption from wearing a mask, you still could pass on COVID to somebody, to one of their guests and so on. We do not want this to be the convention that killed Colin Baker. But we don't.
You have one in Maine, you have a definite one in Maine.
Yeah, that's fine. But no, we need to just take it seriously. So if you are somebody who's exempt, we understand there are people who have medical reasons to be exempt. Talk to us and we'll make sure you get your autographs. But we can't have a situation where we're going in there and without a mask on. I hope everybody understands that. I hope nobody has a problem with that.
I think I wasn't expecting that. I think the key thing is respect, right? Just respect other people's feelings about it. Yeah. Okay. Always err on the side of caution.
It's not about whether you feel that everything's safe and you don't have to worry. It's about everybody else. Okay. It's about the people you're interacting with. And I don't need to tell that to you people because you're Doctor Who fans. Therefore, you think about other people's feelings. Therefore, you're basically decent people.
Obviously, no Twitter users.
No. Right, okay, so we're not going to mess about on this afternoon, this morning rather, but you'll have seen from your information sheet everything you need to know about the day. If you've been before, there are one or two changes in where we've got places. The signings are in the box, the dealer's room is downstairs, in the digital studio on the first floor. Robin the photographer is on the ground floor as normal. The Hoover stall is the stall on the landing outside here. So if you need anything, Andy here.
I'm always going to be on there. So if it's of utmost importance and needs to get to somebody in charge quickly, see me. Otherwise, there are people wandering around with strange little lanyard things on which say steward. They are people you need to go to. That they will direct your query to whoever, whatever needs to be.
We just wanted to...
but I have to get that in, didn't it?
Absolutely.
I got so bored of that sentence.
We didn't introduce ourselves, by the way. I'm Steve Hatcher, this is Andrew Mark Thompson.
Yes.
You'll be aware of Andrew's genius online and so on. You would have seen it.
If you're not, I don't care.
No. You do because you're selling your stuff.
I've just realised I've still got my mask on, haven't I?
You have.
There, I can speak normally now.
Yeah, right. So we're going to crack on, but before we come to our first panel, we want to mention three names, and we want to just talk about that very, very, very briefly. At our last Whooverville, one of our guests, an old friend of the Hoovers, was Ralph Watson. Robert over there knew Ralph well, and Robert's just going to say a few words about Ralph. Yeah. I thought that was the idea.
Yes, I know.
Barnfather's not here,
I'm
is
going
he?
for
Do you want this?
I'll have a minute.
What do you trust?
So what did you think I was going to do with it? Steve asked me to say something about Ralph. I think the main thing to say about Ralph is if you watch The Monster of the Peladon and The Web of Fear and How the Fan Look, unless you read the names at the end, you wouldn't know it was the same actor. And I think that's important to point out. But my favourite memory of Ralph is being at Dimensions in Newcastle, interviewing him, conventions all over. Monday comes and the trains are completely and utterly. Nothing's working. Ralph left in the morning, going that way. In the afternoon, I went that way, but my train got diverted. We stopped at stations that we weren't supposed to stop at. We weren't even supposed to go through, never mind stop at. I'm sitting watching The Web of Fear on my tablet. Just the one episode, because there's only one episode then. And I so notes off slightly. And I get a little on the shoulder. And at this station we've stopped at, Ralph's got on because the train he was on stopped there and flew him off. Because it wasn't going any further. So he gets on and says, "Can I join you?" "Oh look, it's me on your telly." Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
The other name I want to mention is somebody who's actually never been to a Whooverville, but was one of our last, most recent, let's say, Hoover's Friday evening guests. And that was Damaris Heyman, who also has passed in the last year. Damaris, Keith was going to come and say something about Damaris because Keith knew her well, as did Ian Kubiak, who's in the dealer's room today. Damaris was an extraordinary woman and an extraordinary actress. And if those of you who only know her as Miss Hawthorne in The Demons, just watch television sometime. Watch television from the 60s or 70s, and it won't be long before Damaris turns up. And she's not always the same role. She's usually the dotty, middle-aged to elderly lady.
She's the lady in One Foot in the Grave. She's the lady with who's selling a pair of nearly new shoes that her late husband has. And she answers the door to Victor Meldrew, who shows me, "Hey, yes, I'll just show you the shoes." And the shoes are still on her late husband.
And then she was in Bottom, pushing a dead body in a wheelbarrow. She had a good sense of humour.
And she seemed to know everybody.
Oh yeah.
She was a good friend of Margaret Rutherford.
Tony Hancock.
Tony Hancock.
But she was extraordinary. She reached a great age, and that's lovely. So you can't do much really other than, when someone dies at a great age, like my own dad did last year, is to say, well look, they lived a good and long life, and to celebrate that and not be too sad. Damaris came here and did a Hoover's meeting for us, as I said, and she was actually quite frail. She had been due to come to us earlier in the year, but had a bad fall, and we had to postpone it. But she was absolutely determined to come, and it was a dreadfully hot evening in the summer, and we were in the digital studio downstairs, and we were all wilting with the heat. I thought I'd killed Damaris at one point during the interview. I thought she'd actually gone there and then, which would have been a major embarrassment. But no, she wasn't well, but she was determined to come and give us that evening, and it was lovely to see her. We'll miss her. The third person I'm going to mention is somebody we'll miss probably even more than either of those two people, because he was a key member of our team here. Now, the last Whooverville and all the subsequent, all the previous Whoovervilles, you would have seen not us two on the stage, but three of us, because you would have seen Ian Parks. And Ian Parks isn't a well-known name, unless you happen to be watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire one night in 2002 or thereabouts, where he won 120-odd thousand, did very well for himself. 125,000.
He didn't tell anyone he was going to be on it. I was watching it and some Ian Parks.
Keith, we've already spoken about Damaris, but I mean, I'm sure people can come and talk to you about it during the course of the day. You'll be in the dealership.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. But we've paid a nice tribute.
Keith Barnfather.
Yeah. So Ian. Ian was a member of the Hoover's group forever. He was a ukulele player, he was a great quizzer, he was all sorts of things, but he was our friend. He was a man of mystery in many ways. It was difficult to know Ian well, however long you had known him. His wife said that about him at his funeral, that she never felt she really knew him. But she knew he was her husband. He went to sleep. Obviously, he went to sleep on New Year's Eve, and many of us, his was the last message we saw before we went to bed last night, as it happens on Facebook. And he didn't wake up in the morning. There was no warning of that. He hadn't been ill or anything. So it was very sudden and very horrible. And again, we miss him dreadfully. And of course, it being during the lockdown, we couldn't attend his funeral. It was done streamed online. But there we are. So we wanted to mention Ian's name today and say we're going to miss him here today. But we're not here to have a wake today or anything like that. So we wanted to get that out of the way.
We're here to stay awake.
We're celebrating, yeah. We're going to be celebrating Doctor Who. We're going to be celebrating a lovely guest here today. But most of all, I think we're going to be celebrating you lot for coming out and joining us again. And it is thoroughly lovely to see you. It is just wonderful. Right, so let's get underway. We're finished?
I'm finished.
Jolly good. So we're around. You know around he is out there. I'll be the one rushing past you in a high-speed limp, probably. But you know where we are. And John's standing by the door there, who's working for Quad this year, who knows exactly what he's doing. He's normally our man with a clipboard, but he's Quad's man with a clipboard this year. So there we are.
Yeah.
John should have been on a jolly this weekend, and he got cancelled. Isn't that sad? So there we are.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Of course, make John feel better. Right, let's pass over to Robert. Yeah. Let's pass over to Robert for your first panel. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, one more last thing. You'll have seen the flyers around for the rather wonderful book, A Target for Anthony, from Obverse. Anthony Fletcher Goldsplink, or otherwise known sometimes as Anthony Townsend, is very, very, very seriously ill. Some of you will have met him at conventions and things. He's a bundle of joy who's a great pleasure to be in the company of. Some of his friends have got together and put together a collection of fan fiction stories and things for Anthony to raise money for his special needs that he needs while he's in palliative care, basically. If you can possibly, we haven't got copies of it here today. It's available from Obverse. Pick up a copy of the flyer.
A nice flight by Paul Mars.
By Paul Mars.
I think you have to be quick. I think
Last day.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, it's I thought it was Monday. Is it?
Is it? Well, I think you can order it Sunday.
Sunday anyway, just
The order's finished this weekend, basically. So please can I urge you to do so. It's not expensive. And there'll be a good selection of stories. Our friend Jenny Shirt, who would normally be here, she's got a story in there. Paul Burns, who I hope was coming this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Hatcher. Thank you for attending Whooverville this year. Thank you. We'll go home now. I know this is loud, isn't it? Yeah. Is it just me? Am I loud? I don't know. Yeah. So he says, let's hope it's a stay a week convention. So let's see how the first panel goes. Two guests here are two of the building blocks of the success of the return of Doctor Who. But prior to that, they were each in different realms of Doctor Who. One of the most loved, respected, iconoclastic writers of Doctor Who fiction, even before they had a Doctor Who episode on TV to their name. They are Paul Cornell and Robert Sherman. Shall I go here? You can have one microphone. I'm assuming this does something as well. I hate doing the first part of the place.